Plushy Night is a narrative-driven game about a young girl named Gemma struggling to deal with loss. You take control of her stuffed teddy bear, Plushy, and guide Gemma on a journey through the memory woods as she learns to deal with the death of her father. Plushy Night was built using Havoc's vision engine. I joined the 20-person team in February as a systems designer, hoping to gain experience scripting combat AI in a 3D engine. Plushy Night is a very script-heavy game, with Lewis scripts controlling all AI and combat behaviors for NPCs, enemies, and bosses. Not having a technical background, I saw this as an excellent learning opportunity and took advantage of it, diving headfirst into combat design.
So Patrick Feller, he is the fastest learner I've ever met in my entire life working with scripters. He went from our first semester of FIA knowing absolutely nothing about scripts, maybe some basic essentials with Flash, to being the most competent scripter I've ever worked with my entire life.
Early on, he didn't really have a scripting background, but then for Plushy Night, he quickly picked it up faster than I've seen anybody pick anything up.
Over the next several months, I had my hands in pretty much every behavioral script and worked my way into being Plushy Night's primary combat scripter, utilizing an iterative approach and prototyping all sorts of abilities to try and identify what would make our game fun. As we started to narrow in on our design and what we wanted out of combat, I began the necessary process of rewriting the fundamental scripts controlling NPC and enemy behavior. However, one of the quirks of the Vision engine is that Lewis scripts cannot communicate to specific entities that share the same script and object key, such as our PhotoGhost. Early production got around this issue by altering the PhotoGhost object keys, and this functioned as a quick fix, but needed to be replaced to develop any form of meaningful combat. However, many of our game's scripts had already been built around this method, creating a tangled knot of interconnectivity where correcting one script would break the others. I took it upon myself to tackle this issue.
He works probably harder than anybody on the team, just in scripting in general and systems design, and anything that you throw at him, he's going to have it done probably a day before you expect it to.
Sometimes I even have to step in and say, Patrick, I think you're working a little bit too hard on this, and I know that I'm being serious about this. I have to pull Patrick away from tasks on the project so that he'll remember to do things like work on his portfolio website.
Identifying this problem in advance, I began developing a second set of scripts that operated under the new communication system. And when our project advanced to the point where our current scripts were preventing implementation of new combat features, I was ready. I managed to simultaneously implement sweeping changes to combat AI and all of our encounters, add several new combat abilities, and even implement a new enemy type over the course of a single weekend. And the feedback we received was terrific. We finally had intelligent NPC and enemy behavior, and it made combat fun. It was a turning point for our design team, and I became a go-to guy on the team whenever we needed to implement a new feature. But my proudest accomplishment came with less than a month to go on the project. We had yet to begin work on player death, and it looked like Plushy Night's death condition would get completely cut. However, knowing how our game scripts operated, I felt it was still possible, and lobbied for an opportunity to save player death.
So when we wanted to do player death, we were pretty close to the end of the project, and so we needed to basically do the whole player death in one weekend. So on Friday, me, Patrick, Brian Rose, and someone else sat down for like 2 hours and designed everything about the death and how it was going to go. And then Patrick took that and probably stayed up the whole night and basically came up with a prototype that was pretty good in 24 hours. And then we took that and just took the next 24 hours tweaking it. And by the end of the weekend, we pretty much had a fully functioning player death mechanic. So that was pretty cool.
We know a few things about Patrick Feller. One, he's incredibly intelligent, and two, he is very dedicated to learning new things. He has a personality that just simply will not quit. When he sets his mind to a task, you can rest easy knowing that the task is going to get done, and it's going to be done extremely well.
There's been a lot of praise for what we accomplished with Plushy Night. People are saying we've raised the bar for what a student game can be. Plushy Night offers an experience that is profound, visually stunning, and fun to play. We made a great game, And it's been an incredibly rewarding experience because I played an essential role, and because I worked my ass off. We all did. And to have managed this in my first opportunity to design and script for a large-scale project is something I am extremely proud of.